by Maximum Acceleration, the professionals coaching company. I'm Erik, Janeczko, head coach and CEO of the company. We started this series about a little over a year ago with the intention of bringing a community of learning together within the mortgage and real estate industries. And our focus has been on providing high-quality content, valuable, insightful tools that you can utilize immediately to help you grow and refine your skills and ability to produce at a higher level. Our commitment to you as our audience and our readership and listeners is that we are going to give you hard-hitting information, high-impact tools and materials that will help you grow your business. Because our mission is to help you get from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. And that is our only goal as a company. That's the reason that we exist. So today's program is no different. The continuation of the series is the next step in the program is we're going to be talking today about the new rules of marketing and how you can use automated systems to produce better results and generate more referrals as we move into a market that is heavily weighted on the need to nurture and incubate leads more effectively, to work with our clients to retain those value-based relationships and help people understand the benefits of moving forward and taking advantage of the incredible housing opportunity that exists in the United States today. I mean, and part of the reason for that is literally, guys, we're dealing with unprecedented housing affordability. Yeah, rates have climbed up a little bit from where they were early 2013, a little over a year ago, but they're still within range of some of the best interest rates that our market has ever experienced in history. I mean, there literally have been less than 6 periods in the entire 220-year history of the American economy where interest rates have been at or below 5% for an extended period of time. And, you know, the average American's home buying ability, the amount of money per month or the amount of house they can get for the payment monthly is better than it's been pretty much any time in most of our lifetimes. It's literally, you'd have to go all the way back to the late 40s and early 50s to find interest rates that are as good and housing affordability as far as monthly payment for size of house any better than what it is right now. And so our job in the new world of this market and how to produce and reach the people who could benefit from this amazing housing affordability is doing everything we can to power up and utilize new technology systems and tools that will help reach a wider audience in a shorter period of time and allow us to help those people who don't even, probably in all honesty, have no awareness of how much house for the money a month they could get right now. So our guest speaker is a seasoned veteran of the mortgage industry, an originator by trade initially, and a former Maximum Acceleration coaching client member, as well as just somebody who I think is an outstanding individual who's got a lot of great information to share. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mikel, at this point, let you take us through what you have to share with us today about how to tackle the new rules of marketing and use them to grow more business.
Great, Erik. Hey, thanks so much. I sure appreciate you inviting me to be able to share this information. And thank you to everybody who came online today, carving out the time out of your day. Spending 15 years on your side of the desk originating mortgages myself, I know how valuable time is. And really we're going to talk about some of that, of focusing on the highest and best use of your time and using some tools to stay in front of the most important people consistently to drive more top-of-mind awareness at the end of the day. Get more repeat and referral business. It's one of the biggest issues I see with technology and how it relates to relationship-based sales is that so many times when we go out and we seek out ways to use technology in our business, especially online marketing, the information we get tends to take us down a completely divergent path from what we already know that works offline. And really what we're going to talk about today is using systems that replicate the offline experience. We already know that referrals drive the most business in our industry and will continue to do that over time. And so we have to look at ways we can use technology to support that and leverage that so that you can get better results and again, not take away from the high-dollar activities that you do on a daily basis. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some very specific tactical things that you can put into place for your business and show you exactly what we've done to help hundreds of loan officers all over the country to be able to maximize their exposure, stay in front of their sphere of influence consistently, and do it all automatically. So the first thing I want to do is, though, I just want to introduce in your mind right away kind of a paradigm shift that happened. Now, like I said, I started in the mortgage industry back in '95 and then again built off my business entirely by referral. And one of the things that we all know about referrals is that generally speaking, when you get a referral, it's someone that you know or that knows, likes, and trusts you personally. They refer you to someone that they know that you might not know yet, but they build what I call a bridge of trust between you and that new potential customer by that referral. And of course, that's built on something that's close in. It's a personal relationship. Here's what's changed in the way that the psyche of kind of the whole American public, and really the worldwide public, has changed over the last 5 or 6 years since the advent of the Web 2.0 world, the two-way communication world of the Internet, and especially through things like social media. So I want to take you back to your own personal experience. I think when I present this in front of live groups and in webinars, most people they really can relate to this point. So what you see on your screen right now are a number of different brands online, and you've probably shopped at one of these or gone and looked at products or services, maybe a restaurant to go to on Yelp, or looked for a movie on Netflix, or for sure shopped on Amazon or some other retail shopping site. Now, what I want to illustrate to you is that before you actually pushed the buy button or made a decision to make a purchase or use a service, did you go down and take a look at the customer reviews or the peer reviews that were on that site that said something about that product or service, either positive or negative, gave their personal experience and testimonial of whether or not they liked what they purchased? And if you're like most of the people that I'm in front of, and when I'm in live audiences, 95% of the room is nodding their head. Absolutely. They've used these services before. It's a common part of our commerce today. They've also gone down and used those reviews as a way to make purchasing decisions or decisions of the way that they spend their money. And so if you're in that camp, the question I have for you is how many of those people that gave those peer reviews before you actually made the purchasing decision did you know personally? And if you're like the vast majority of everybody I'm ever in front of, you're saying the same thing, well, I didn't know any of those people personally. And yet, we, even in our own experience, we use those peer reviews and testimonials online as evidence of whether or not we should make decisions on what we buy or the products and services that we take advantage of. So the proposal of this is that it is important to have an online presence. It is important to be able to have the story told about you and your product or service as well. And the best way to do that is through third-party evidence or testimonials. And just as kind of some scientific proof beyond that point is this is a study. It was a worldwide study that's done just on the way that people accept information. This is done by Nielsen. And if you look at this chart that's on your screen right now, the top level is and like I said, always will. I'm a huge believer. Sorry, guys, we advanced a slide on accident there. But I'm a huge believer in referral-based business. And so you'll see that 9 out of 10 people still trust recommendations from people they personally know. It's definitely something we want to leverage, and we want to show you how you can stay in front of that sphere of influence consistently. But the second most important thing is other consumer opinions posted online. 7 out of 10 people trust that third-party validation. And the thing I want to point out is the bottom 3 in this chart, ads on TV, brand sponsorships, and ads in magazines. In other words, those are less than 50% of people trust that information anymore. Those are the things that companies or individuals are saying about themselves to advertise or market themselves, compared to 7 to 9 out of 10 people trusting what third parties say even if they don't know those people. That's the power of online testimonials and having a high-quality presence that builds credibility that brings trust. Now, let me give you my background real quick because, like I said, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I spent 15 years sitting on your side of the table as an originator. I owned my own brokerage in the Pacific Northwest for about 10 of those years. And this is my business card. From March 15th, 1995, when I got started in the mortgage industry, I was 23 years old at the time. We're getting some automatic advancing here. So I was 23 years old at the time, and that's where I started my career. When I first got started, I moved to a new location. I knew absolutely no one. And in order to get moving forward, my dad told me a long time ago, Michael, if you ever want to learn how to do something, just go find someone who's already successful and then ask them questions. They'll tell you what they've done, and then just duplicate that because there's no reason to recreate the wheel. Well, this gal, Lori Hansen, that worked kind of in a dungeon office down in our office there in Vancouver, she was super busy, had stacks of files all over the place. So one day after work, I went down and I asked her, I said, Lori, I'm just getting started and I have to create some income. How can I actually start to build a business and do what you've done? And she said, Michael, the most important thing you can do is build a list of people who know, like, and trust you. Stay in front of them consistently. Build top-of-mind awareness so that when they get into referral situations, they remember you and they're willing to share your information. And that's exactly what I did. I took her advice. I started building a list. I started marketing to those people consistently. And that was the cornerstone of growing a very successful origination business for 15 years. So what I do now, though, I made a transition in what I found was I really enjoy sharing with people how to use technology tools to maximize their exposure and drive that repeat and referral business. So what I do now is I own a company, My Smart Blog. We serve about 600 industry professionals all over the country, marketing for them on a daily basis to stay in front of their sphere. And I go out and I learn from the best people in the industry as well on the best referral marketing strategies, internet marketing strategies, just success and motivation techniques. Try to bring that back and share it with you. So those are just some of the areas that I enjoy doing. Now, here's one thing that I want to share with you that's really the most important thing, I think. If you figured out what asset you have in business that's the most important, it really comes down to your audience. Your audience are the people who would consistently care what you have to say. They'll listen to you. They accept communication and information with you. And by building that consistent communication stream with those folks, it builds that trust. And trust is what ends up yielding repeat business down the road and referrals. And that, of course, is what drives commission dollars into your pocket. So I propose to you that the ways that you go about communicating with people consistently become the most important tools to take advantage of this asset. And that's what I'm going to share with you right now. Now, here's the thing is you have to ask yourself, too, if you have to reach that audience, where are they hanging out? And what's the most effective way to get to them? Now, some people would say, go out and try to get people to come to your website. I'm going to tell you right now, the hardest thing to do is change other people's behavior, to get them to do things that they otherwise wouldn't do. And the opposite of that, the easiest thing to do is just reach them where they already choose to spend their time. Well, this is another study that was done going over all of the time people spend online, the top categories or areas where people spend their time. And about the highest category of the place that people spend their time is on social networks and blogs. So naturally, people's eyeballs are already gravitating there. In fact, if you think about your own experience, you probably know quite a few people who have Facebook installed on their phone, and they might check it multiple times a day. And so people are already geared to be able to check in and look at that for information. So it becomes really important as marketers that we start to show up where people are already choosing to spend their time and energy. The second most important thing, by the way, is email, and combining those two, you really get the best exposure between social networks, blogging, and email is where you get the kind of most comprehensive coverage of the people and where they're spending their time online. So the thing is that if that's such a powerful tool, and this is where I kind of wanted to ask you that, type into the question box there right now, if social media is such a powerful way to communicate and there's so many people involved in it, why aren't more people in our industry taking advantage of that and doing that? So if you could just do that real quick, what do you think the top reasons are that, that people, maybe even yourself, if you haven't taken advantage of systems to be able to communicate effectively through social media, why is that? Great, we're getting some not sure of the best type of content. That's a great one. Doesn't reach immediate audience. That could be sometimes that could be true as well. Unfamiliar with the tools. That's excellent. Fear, not knowing where to start. Great. Thanks, guys, for putting that in there. Is there any more? Too much spam. That's great. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be putting out especially salesy, spammy type messages. That can annoy people. Don't know where to start. Don't want to bug clients. Don't want to bother people. All these are great. Older people still doing business. Younger generation brings us all up to speed. That's true too. There's interestingly enough, though, that across all demographics from 18 to 64 years old, 7 out of 10 people are using social media today. That's the latest statistics that just came out. And also across all income demographics, all the way up, it's about 7 out of 10. Gosh, lots of good responses coming in here. Don't have time to commit. That's yeah, really important one. Not as savvy. Lots of different things like that. So thank you for the responses. That's exactly right. I'm going to share with you the top 3 things that we hear most often as we're working with people all over the country. The 3 most common reasons are the roadblocks, the reason that people don't take as much advantage of what they could in this area is, number 1, too expensive. If you either have to invest in the tools up front or pay for a WordPress website, normally runs between $2,500 and $4,000 to get set up. It's very expensive to do. It's very time consuming to set it up yourself, which becomes expensive in a different way. Or you have to hire staff to be able to manage it. That's very expensive. So again, it's either a dollar investment that you have to, usually too expensive, and that creates a barrier. It's either or a time commitment. And again, we talk a lot about the highest and best use of your time. And as a salesperson, I don't think sitting at a computer and pounding on a keyboard is the best way for you to spend your time. So the time-consuming issue. And then the last part is what a lot of people said, hey, I just don't know the tools. I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to make it all work. And that falls into that too difficult situation. Well, what we want to do today is I'm going to show you there is an answer to all of that. And it's called using automation. And if you use the systems that are in place, the technology that's available today, you can start to actually automate some of these processes, especially at the foundational level, so that it can work for you on a daily basis without you having to set it up yourself, without you having to write your own blog content or syndicate it through social media. But you can start to have a consistent presence there And then the best application is putting a foundation that works consistently for you and does all the grunt work, and then you can actually just add the personal flair, the relationship building stuff over the top of it. And that's what I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So to introduce it right away, it's called Hub Marketing, and you start with WordPress at the core. WordPress is a website framework. It's a very specific type of framework that's been developed over the last 6 or 7 years in order specifically to deal with this distribution of content, meaning that you can write content in one spot, specifically a WordPress-based blog website, and then that can automatically tie in and distribute, or what we call syndicate content, out through all of your social networks, and it can tie in and automatically send email newsletters out, all kinds of things, and it can all happen right from the center of that hub in the WordPress website. So I'm going to show you a real-world example of how that works. I'll tell you a quick story of how My Smart Blog started. My Smart Blog it started from a consulting conversation with this gentleman, Mikel, who's one of the top producing loan officers in the country. He's in the Scotsman Guide list year after year. He does about $100 million a year in personal production volume. And Mikel came to me with some other questions about referral marketing, and as we were talking, he had 3 main issues he was dealing with. Number 1, he wanted to have a website that would make him look professional online. Professional graphic design, not the typical industry, put your logo in one corner and your photo in the other, and that's it on a template. He wanted something that really, gave him the credibility that he carried when he talked with a person, live. And so he couldn't really figure, he was trying to put together a WordPress website on his own in the evenings, and that wasn't working out, and so he just wanted to get that done. And the second thing is he actually had a pretty good group of people connected through social media. He had these networks out there, and he already had like an email list put together, and he had his mailing list that he sent out newsletters on a monthly basis. But he saw each of those things, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, he saw those as areas he could be marketing and staying in front of people consistently, but he just didn't know how other than him sitting at the computer doing it, and that wasn't an option for him. So he wanted to find a way to be able to stay in front of those folks consistently. And the last thing that he wanted to do is he wanted to make sure that if he invested in a system that it would work automatically. In other words, he wouldn't have to take the time away from his day working with new clients, taking loan applications, or giving world-class service in order to sit and write blog posts or update information or manage a website. And that was the challenge when we first started. So we went through and on a consulting basis built him the original product that now has become the Smart Blog, and found out there was a real niche there that people wanted this kind of automation system. So we developed all the tools and built this blueprint, and again now we're serving hundreds of people all over the country doing it. And what I'm going to do is show you exactly how that happens. So what happens is we actually create this website with custom graphic design. I'm going to show you how you can do that if you want to do it on your own very inexpensively. We call it the $1 million image. The second thing is that we connect the social networks together to automatically syndicate content. And the last part is we write and publish content every single business day that goes into his website and then automatically syndicates to his social media to keep him in front of those people consistently. So here's what that looks like. Every day when a piece of content goes into his WordPress website, it then shows up in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+, with a link back to his site. So instead of him trying to always get people to come back to his site, he just broadcasts information out where people already are. And again, these aren't salesy, spammy messages. These are all high-quality, relevant pieces of information that people might be interested in, and they range from technical type stuff in the industry all the way to consumer type information, home ownership stuff. So even if someone's not interested in a transaction at the time, they still might be interested in finding out, for instance, how to clean their granite countertops. So it's a real good mix, but it broadcasts out and gives people the opportunity to see him and remind them of who he is and what he does, and then link directly back to the website. So those are like magnets that draw traffic back to the site. And we call that sphere of influence optimization. So it's what we really want to focus on. If you focus on your sphere of influence with your digital marketing strategy, you end up driving more repeat and referral business, and that's what's really important here. So basically, like he said, when he said it's the best technology he's made, he's had this happening for about 3 years. It's like having a full-time marketing assistant, and you can have that too. So as you set up your own system this way to be able to market yourself, it really is like having a full-time marketing assistant doing all this work, and you literally don't have to pay that full-time wage to get someone to do it manually. It can all be automated. What I always like to share with people is when you take time to build systems, when you put systems in place that can run repeatedly over and over and take care of these very important issues like staying in front of the sphere of influence consistently, that's just smart marketing. And when you do marketing in a smart way, it creates time and money. So I would say even if you're too busy like he is, that he doesn't have time to sit and do it on the computer himself, he still has that exposure that drives more repeat and referral business, and he doesn't have to worry about it. It's just a foundation that's working for him all the time. But also if you want to take a 2-week vacation to Tahiti, you just know that with the right systems in place and using automation, that marketing goes out every single day. You don't have to worry about it. It's a great way to live. So now I want to jump into actually how you get this set up. There's 3 steps that you need to do in order to get a WordPress website set up. The first thing is a custom domain name. It's about $10 a year to be able to register one. It is important for you to register your own, and even if you went through our service, and yes, we would register a domain name for a client, I always recommend people still register their own because it's something that you want to maintain control of. You don't want to give that control to somebody else. In other words, if the relationship somehow dissolved down the road, you want to be able to take your domain name, which is what you've invested in by promoting that whole time, and be able to move it wherever you want. So about $10, $12 a year, go to a service like GoDaddy and register a domain name. The second thing you're going to need is you're going to have a hosting account. A hosting account is where the files are located. GoDaddy is a great one just to do a combined thing. There's a lot of other hosting companies out there. The one thing you should know about hosting with WordPress is a database-intensive program, so you don't want to go with the cheapest hosting program out there. You'd want to go with a mid-tier hosting program so that you actually get enough bandwidth in order to serve a WordPress website effectively. One of the reasons people don't stay on sites very long is if they're slow to respond. You've probably had that experience yourself. So it's going to range probably around $15 to $30 a month for hosting, depending on who you use. There are even WordPress-specific hosting companies, like one called WPEngine.com, which is about $30 a month, but again, they're geared specifically for WordPress websites, so it's a good choice for hosting. But you need a place to be able to put the files, and when you get the hosting account, then the last thing you want to do is actually set the website up. Now, the good news about WordPress is it's actually a free platform. In other words, it's an open source platform. When you have a hosting account, there's a one-click installation to get the actual software installed. Customer service at your hosting account can generally help you to get that done. So it's an easy way to do that. What I always like to tell people about and warn people about right up front, though, is there is a time commitment. If you choose to do this yourself, you do have to spend 20 to 40 hours of time setting up the site, getting the design work done, implementing the software that needs to go in, which we call plugins in the WordPress environment, and kind of dialing everything in to get it to the point that you would want it to look professional. So there is a time commitment to do yourself, but it is possible to do, and again, it's a free software, and the other things are pretty inexpensive to do. So let me jump into, but by the way, this is the #1 thing. If you want to do digital communication through your sphere of influence, leveraging social media, the #1 thing you have to have is this WordPress-based website. So that's the first place to start. I'm going to jump into a couple of the key features. I can't go into all the detail because we just don't have enough time, but a couple of the most important things you have to focus on to make this successful. A lot of you have seen the ugly yellow sign thing, and that might work great on the side of a road like a bandit sign or something to be able to catch people's attention as they're driving by. But let me tell you something. You don't want an ugly website. In fact, one of the biggest reasons that people choose to move on and not stay on a website or have it build credibility in their mind is simply the aesthetics. I'm going to show you real quick here what I'm talking about in graphic design on a WordPress website. But what I want you to think about is the old saying. We've all been told this. You never get a second chance for a first impression. And let me tell you something. The way that people on the internet are wired today, it's literally a fraction of a second. When your website pulls up, if it isn't something that's aesthetically pleasing to them, they're moving on. And again, I just roll this back to your own experience. When's the last time that you went to a website that didn't look good? You probably didn't stick around. You went and looked around for something else that looked like there was more time invested in, and it was a more professional experience. And that's the same judgment people are making about you. So these are the areas in WordPress that you'd want to focus on, things like a custom header image, which is kind of the main brand of the WordPress site in most cases, slideshow images, sidebar images, things that that have your photo in them, your contact information, any click-through or call to action images. One of the most important things when someone does get to your website is to actually have them take action and hopefully opt in for something, and I'll cover that in a second as well. But those are the design elements that you'll want to be able to do. Now, here's the way that I want to give you. This is actually a great tip for you if you want to have any design work done, whether it's online or it can be offline design. But the internet's really leveled the playing field in terms of your design. Companies like 99 Designs, the biggest one I promote or I recommend, or Logo, Tournament, or CrowdSpring, they're all kind of the same theory. And I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's just say you want a logo done. Well, historically, you'd go contact a designer, pay $1,000 or so to get a logo. They give you 2 or 3 ideas. You pick from them, they revise them, give it to you, and that's what you got. The way that it leveled the playing field with companies like 99 Designs is they actually set up this tournament foundation where you actually go in, you give the specs like you would give to a single designer. You give the specs of what it is you want designed in the system, then they put that out to literally thousands of designers all over the globe who want to take part in this contest, and you post a prize, and on 99 designs, just as an example, it costs $295 for the prize for a logo. So what ends up happening is then you have thousands of people exposed. Say you get 30 or 40 designers that want to participate in this contest. They all do a version of that logo. And so on that day one of this 7-day contest, you get to look at all 30 or 40 ideas, and then you rank them based on the best ones you like to the ones that you discard that you don't like. And then all of those designers that are in that contest will look at the ones that you ranked as the best ideas, and then they'll go back to work and they'll resubmit the next day on ideas based on what you've already said you like. And if you can think about it like a pyramid, it starts with a big base, a lot of ideas, and it keeps getting refined based on your feedback over the course of 7 days to come out with the absolute best product. And at the end of the day, you get literally all this effort by a lot of really great designers working together as a team to get you the best product, and it only costs you about 1/3 of the money that you'd normally pay to a professional designer. So great tools like that you can get design work done, and you can go there and get that as a resource and save yourself some money. So I'd recommend that to be able to, if you're going to you set up a site, you get custom graphic design. That's a great route to go if you want to outsource it to professional designers. The second thing you have to have is great content. So you've heard the term content is king. This is the thing, is the content that's on your site is what will keep people coming back. But more importantly, if you want traffic to get to your site, you have to put content out where their eyeballs already are. And that's why we distribute through social media. That content is what is going to drag people back to your site. It's what's going to get interesting for folks. It's also what, by the way, is the most important thing in search engine optimization now. With all the updates, it's become very refined. And what Google and other search engines are looking for is good quality content that's relevant and it's consistently updated. So that is an important feature, is to have good quality content. So some examples of the type of content you could write. These are things that we write and publish on a daily basis for our clients. Every Monday we do a rate update of what's gone on for the previous week in the market and things that could affect rates going forward, but never quoting rates or anything that would compromise you from a disclosure perspective, just simply the overview of the market, what's been happening. You could, and people can edit or modify this anytime they want as well, but these are the types of articles. We also write articles on national broad topics, things like pending home sales or existing home sales, Federal Open Market Committee meeting notes. Those are the more technical report-driven types of things, credibility-building pieces. And then we also publish things that are more consumer-driven, like we just did a number of holiday-related pieces. The one that came out at the first part of January was what to do with your dead Christmas tree. And so those could be questions that people are asking, and as they're distributed, that can get you traction. And every time someone clicks on a link to get back to your site, they're able to read that article, find out what to do with their dead Christmas tree, but at the same time, they're seeing your face, they're seeing your branding, they're reminded of who you are and what you do, and your professionalism, and that's just one more thing that adds to that top-of-mind awareness. So some of the things that you can do to get content in terms of if you want to resource content, not write it all yourself, Bring the Blog, simple disclaimer here, that's our brand. We own Bring the Blog, and that's where you, if you already have a WordPress website, can subscribe to a content feed where we can publish it directly into your site. Other tools that I've used personally and I would endorse are things like writeraccess.com, where you can actually set up tools where you can order articles. They're going to range for good quality articles that you would want to put on your site that make sense and would make you look professional. They're going to range somewhere around $30 to $40 an article. But it's a good investment if you want unique, good quality content written. And you can select the authors. Most of them are North American-based authors. Another option would be Text Broker, which is at the bottom. A little less quality at Text Broker in general, but you have the option to get really cheap content there. I don't know that it's not the best recommendation, but if you're looking, those are a few different options that you can use to be able to get content written for you and then use for your marketing. The last piece I want to share with you is actually the most important part of lead generation with this whole system, and that's lead capture. See, if you have a great website and you even put out great content, but all you do is drive people to the site and hope they click on a click here to apply now button, that's not going to be successful in terms of driving internet leads. And so you really do have to have a system in place to be able to get people to opt in. And on the internet, getting them to apply for a loan immediately is way too big of a commitment. You've got to date a little first. You've got to prove that you have some credibility and give them a reason that they want to participate. So what you have to do on your site is you have to have a lead capture device. You have to give something for free away. And the way that you do that, it can be as simple as an ebook for your local area, the top 10 reasons that you should refinance in Poughkeepsie, whatever. The point is you should have a simple thing. You can have these written, by the way, at those same content places I told you about before, like Writer Access. They can write an ebook for you. You then would make that available on your website using an opt-in form. And there's lots of tools out there to create these opt-in forms. I'm going to share one with you here in just a second. It's free, by the way, that you can actually do. But you have to have this, and you want this on every single page of your website to make it available to people, and even put it within the content. If you can embed it anywhere or create a link or a signature line at the end of the content that says, hey, click here to get my free ebook, that's what you want people to do, because you want them to take that first step and give you maybe just their first name and their email, or even just their email address, because that's what brings them into what we call the sales funnel. That's the top of the funnel, and allows you to set up a follow-up email sequence, which can be automated, send them 3 to 5 emails, giving them additional information and building credibility with them, and then in each one of those, progressively moving them further towards actually taking action, either calling you, applying, those types of things. Here's what I want to offer you right now. There's a free resource that you can get right here. You can go get this. It's our ebook that we give away on our website. If you go to freebloggingebook.com, this literally is. I can only go through a very small group of pieces of content here on the webinar, but this is literally the step-by-step blueprint, exactly how you build this system and run it, do everything you need to do at freebloggingebook.com. You'll be able to download that right away. There's no cost, no obligation. You will get an email sequence following up with some additional information. And I hope you take advantage of it. So go to freebloggingebook.com after the webinar, download that, and use that as a framework to be able to get these things done. Now, the tool I was going to tell you about is MailChimp. If you haven't heard of MailChimp, it's a free resource. For up to 2,000 clients and up to 12,000 emails a month, you can set up an account for free and manage your email distribution list. So that in itself is a huge value. But the second thing, and more importantly from this discussion, is they include autoresponder technology and RSS to email. And what RSS to email is when it pulls your blog feed right from your website, drops it into an email newsletter template, and you can set it up to fire out an email directly to your clients on a monthly or weekly basis. And it will happen completely automatically without you doing anything with that updated content, especially if you're consistently updating your content or you subscribe to a service like ours that writes for you on a daily basis. So pretty cool deal there. This is an example of what an email newsletter would look like. This is Mikel Addison's that's matched up with his website I showed you before. And again, it's custom designed, so it has a high quality look and feel, but what ends up happening is that the framework stays the same and is completely customizable, but what happens is that it pulls in the last 5 stories that were published on his blog, automatically puts them into the website, puts the link back to the site, includes all of the social sharing buttons and connections, and then fires it out to his list on a monthly basis. And again, you can set it up weekly. So a lot of our clients, they do monthly to their customers, to their sphere of influence for their customers, and maybe weekly to their real estate agent clients. So you can actually set this up and have it go to 2 different lists at different time variables. Pretty cool stuff that you can do for a free service, no less, and have that happening. So again, just another example, you have to have the opt-in form on the website in order for people to subscribe. That's how they get onto the list. And a little side tip for you for sales, an easy way to have a conversation with people about this is, say you're having a conversation, pre-approval phone call, they're not ready to move forward for an application right away. Great way to close the conversation would be, hey, it's been nice talking with you. Is it okay if I add you to my automated email newsletter? And then and most people would say yes. Then they'll be on your drip campaign from that point forward. All you have to do is go to the site and fill out the information in the form. So pretty cool. Here's the thing, though, is that the good news is if you like this idea of being able to maximize content distribution and blogging and content marketing to do this, you don't have to do it all by yourself. So I've given you the tools. I've also given you the ebook that you can download. You can take a look. What I'd like to do is I'll show you a little bit more about what we do for clients just very quickly so you have an idea of how you could actually have this implemented and up and running in just 2 or 3 business days if you'd like. This is Karen Dice. A lot of you might know Karen. She runs Mortgage Currency. She also has MortgageGirlfriends.com. One of our valued partners, and we've run her Mortgage Currency blog since the day of inception. And that was just her comment about My Smart Blog. She calls it the Mercedes of all mortgage blogs. I think a lot of that is because of the automation. That she likes the fact that it's built, done, managed. She doesn't have to worry about it. Now, Karen does write all of her own content. As you know, she's a publisher and great information there. But we sure appreciate the endorsement from her and her as a customer. Here's just another design example. Robbie Oakes, another $100+ million a year producer in North Carolina. And he's just another example of someone who got started with our site about 1.5 years ago. And Robbie, you know, in his case, he talks about My Smart Blog's been the perfect tool for me to keep in front of my customers and referral partners informed on a daily basis. He talks about the content being top-notch, makes distribution an ease. So again, a lot of people in the response people will have is just the simple automation. Having a high-quality presence and having it automated is the biggest benefit. I'm going to show you real quick. We run on a membership format. I mentioned that most companies out there, they charge $2,000 to $4,000 to set up, just to build the website. And in that typical kind of design environment, they then hand it off to you and expect that you write your own content and maintain your site, and they go find another client. Well, at MySmartBlog, we do it a little different. We're a membership site because we believe that ongoing commitment to consistent blogging and communication is the most important part. So we figured out a way to give you that same $3,000 value website with custom graphic design, just like the samples I've been showing you. It's completely custom graphic design, professionally done. We build it in about 2 to 3 business days for you, and it includes all the bells and whistles, so you don't have to buy any separate licenses for plugins or themes or any other of the details. All of that's included within our system. We host and maintain it as well, so you don't have to worry about security issues, backing up your databases, doing any of the plugin or software or core updates. We handle everything for you, and in fact, we go out and we seek out, as things come out, the best new plugins, and we add things all the time to our network so that you get to take advantage of them as well. Now, our membership also includes a daily done-for-you piece of content, which is every business day, by the way. So it's about 20 articles a month, and kind of the examples I showed you in the mortgage industry. We also have a real estate channel, if there are any agents on, that has a little bit of a different content mix in order to skew more towards the real estate side of things as well. And then the last part is we actually manage the social media distribution. So we actually set up the connection so it automatically distributes, and then we monitor that on a daily basis as well. So if for some reason it breaks and it's not posting, we usually know before you do. And 9 times out of 10, it's a password issue. So then we connect with you, get that information, reconnect it again, and make sure that stuff's going out consistently. So again, it's a fully managed system, just like us being your assistant. The last thing you should know about our system is it's 100% money back guaranteed, meaning that when you invest in our product for the first 30 days, you can take it for a test drive. It takes about 2 or 3 days to get it set up for you. Once it's up and running, you get the full 30 days to be able to test it out. If you don't think it's the best thing you've ever invested in terms of technology for this industry, I would hope that you just ask for your money back, because no one ever does. People love our system, but we always want you to know that there's no risk. We'll prove ourselves to you. And the last thing people always say, well, Michael, if you're not charging that big upfront fee and you're only having a monthly membership fee for it, then what's the contract? How long do I have to commit? Here's my answer. I never liked contracts when I was originating. I figured if services were good enough, then I would like to continue to pay for them, and that's the way we run our business. We have no contracts. It's month to month. We'll earn your business every single month. So the last thing is just kind of an illustration of value. I'd like people to understand what they're getting, because we really believe that we're offering this huge value and can really drastically improve your business. So you're getting this full website. Again, it's not just a single blog page. It's actually a full website. You wouldn't even need to have any other mortgage website if you didn't want to. You could have this full WordPress website built for you. Then we do that social media syndication and content. That's a $300 annual value there. All the licenses, theme licenses, plugin licenses, all the individual pieces of software that you normally have to pull out a credit card and pay for when you're setting up your own site, we already pay for all those in a developer license. So that's about a $600 per site value just from the setup perspective. We have a huge video library of information from when you log into your dashboard. There's step-by-step videos on exactly how to do anything to be able to modify or add information to your own website. We also include a 1-hour personal coaching session after we launch the site. We'll put you on with one of our coaches to be able to go through and point out exactly how your site works, answer any questions, and literally walk you through point-and-click style exactly how you manage the site. We also send out weekly tech tips, videos, coaching, and we do periodic webinars to educate on new things that we're doing and figuring out in the market as well that you can take advantage of. So the last thing is always your time and frustration saved. Many times I want you to avoid the 2 a.m. beat your head against the computer screen moments. So that piece is priceless. But here's what we do: this is not just a deal for today. By the way, this is a deal, and it is a deal that's available today. But this is always our pricing model. We have no setup fees. It's just $97 to get started. We build you the $3,000 website, take care of all the content marketing for you, which, by the way, you can edit and modify the content if you like. But if you just want it to run automatically, we can. And we do everything. So you can go to mysmartblog.com/free setup anytime now or anytime after the webinar, and you'll get that deal. It's $97 to get started. It's 100% money back guaranteed. The last thing, though, is there is a today-only bonus that we wanted to bring additional value for those of you that carved out time in your day to look at this. And so what we do is anyone who signs up today, and it's anytime today, not in the next hour or 10 minutes, but anytime today, that's attending here on the webinar, we're going to give you a free 90-day seed content. What that means is that we're actually going to load 90 days worth of content. If you would have been subscribing for the last 90 days, we're going to load all of that into your website as if you'd been blogging for the last 90 days for free at no additional cost. So it's basically like having 3 months membership added into the website for free, which gives that many more pages of content that things like Google or other search engines index right away. And also, though, anytime someone comes to your site right from the beginning, instead of just seeing 1 or 2 posts, they'd actually have 90 days of kind of evidence of you actually having content available for them on there as well. So huge opportunity for you if you decide to make a decision today and move forward to get that additional value, and we're excited to be able to bring that to you. So Erik, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and if we've got any live questions, we'd love to be able to answer them.
Yep, have myself on mute for just a second. Okay, guys, so here's the thing. There's been some great questions that have been coming through, so I'm going to fire a couple of quick questions at Michael so we can wrap this up, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some upcoming stuff and some upcoming tool events that are taking place over the next couple of weeks that you need to know about and need to be able to participate in. Okay, so there are obviously some questions coming through about some of the pricing and opportunities. Look, guys, I got to tell you that part of the reason I was excited about talking to Michael about this program is when he actually showed me what all you get with this system, I kept shaking my head going, that makes no sense. I couldn't believe it. There's no way you're able to give that much value for that little investment. Guys, it's $97 a month. I mean, it's like literally a half a cup of coffee a day, and you get all of this stuff automated for you. So I can't encourage you strongly enough to encourage you to seriously take consideration in on this offer that Michael's presented to you. It's an amazing system. It's great quality content, and I know it'll help with a lot of you overcoming some of the challenges that are at here. So here's a couple of things that questions that I want to address. One of them is the question that posted was, okay, so how do we create content, or how do we keep the content from making us look like we're being too salesy? Several of you said you don't do the blogging because you don't want to feel like you're selling or soliciting in a sleazy or selfish way to your personal contacts and friends and your Facebook. So, Michael, would you mind addressing that real quick? How do you keep it from being overly salesy in a personal Facebook account?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, again, and we've changed since the very beginning. We've changed kind of our methodology here. And the best practice with that is, the first thing is just address content itself. The number one thing to not do is promote yourself in your content because that's what people perceive as salesy. If you're not talking about yourself, if you're not talking about how great you are, or that people should come and use you for a transaction, then they're not going to generally see that as a sales message. And you want to keep the content more informative, something that people would actually be interested in reading that isn't salesy. So that's the first thing, is to start with content that isn't salesy, spammy type content. But then even with that, you still don't want to be dumping, for instance, in your Facebook personal profile, business information on a daily basis, just kind of in an automated way. People do get that. They see it, and they don't like that in that personal realm. People look at a personal profile as a personal connection, a way that people should drive deeper relationships. Now, having an automated system like ours in place, the beauty of it is we take all the work out at the foundational level, and what we do is we publish the content into your Facebook business page. That's what business pages are for, is for that type of business updated information. And then what you want to do is, when you see something that's unique or that you like, and by the way, we email you every day with the update of what's gone into your blog, if you see a piece of content that you like or inspires a thought that you have, then you just go to your Facebook business page, click the share button, and share that to your personal profile. But the most important thing is not the piece of content, it's the comment that you make about the content. So you want to engage your sphere of influence on the personal profile by having a real conversation with them. Now, the good news for you is that takes like 10 seconds to do. There's really little time investment, and it actually maximizes the best use of the social media network. So again, you don't have to think about the article to write. Let's just say if it's something about the Fed statement that came out, or that's kind of more technical. I probably wouldn't share that one, but let's go to something like, around the home, the dead Christmas tree idea. And you would share that piece of content and just make a comment, maybe a joke, about the Christmas tree or that kind of thing. And then that type of thing is what's going to generate comments, links, or comments and shares and likes, and which is viral exposure. And each one of those comments, shares, and likes on that piece of content that, by the way, they're responding to the comment you made, is what ends up giving that link out. That the link, remember, drives back to your website, which is then what brands you in those people's mind. So again, that's what helps to drive that top of mind awareness.
Awesome, awesome. So that's a great answer to a great question, and I'll add one caveat to that, guys. Is when you share one of the articles that's posted on your blog on your personal Facebook page. I mean, it's automatically, like Michael said, being streamed to your business page. But when you go to share it on your personal page, make sure that your comments are focused on and based on what they will get from the article, or what a personal story about what you got from the article that you're sharing in your Facebook page. Sometimes make it fun or humorous, make a little joke out of it, make it more of a social comment about this great article. You know, hey, all, thought you might want to check out this article about getting rid of your Christmas tree. Found some unique, caught my attention, and there's some great ideas in here. Something like that, right? And that's, you know, focusing on why it would be to their benefit to take the 5 or 10 minutes to read that particular article that you've attached to your Facebook page in that type of format. All right, there's some other questions in here, Michael, that I've directed towards you that maybe would be better answered in chat if you want to jump in. There's one other big question that that came in here that I wanted to go ahead and address for everybody on the presentation, though, which is, you know, okay, so that's great. We're doing this. We're creating all this social media, and we've got the blog and the streaming and all this automation going on. What does that actually do to increase business or lead volume? And so, Michael, would you take just a quick second and address that issue?
Sure. Yeah, we get this question a lot, and let me be very clear about this. This is one of those marketing tools that is very much like the reason that you send out a monthly newsletter to your sphere of influence, to drive long-term repeat and referral business. So as opposed to a lot of internet marketers who say, hey, you can give me $3,000 and I'll set up a lead generation campaign and it's going to put leads in your email inbox, that's not the methodology that we use to market. This is one of those foundational resources that the simple answer is, if you don't do something to stay in front of your sphere of influence consistently in the ways that they choose to receive communication, what I call build a fence around your audience, right? Then someone else is going to be doing that and capturing that mind share. And what happens is that you end up losing over time because you don't get deals you would have otherwise gotten if you would have been maintaining that exposure correctly. So it's one of those things, and one of the great reasons that question about what does it cost, it's just $97 a month on a consistent basis. When you do a dollar cost analysis, sending out 300 postcards, the postage alone is 120 something, almost 130 something dollars now, just to put the stamps on the postcards. You could literally reach thousands of people on a daily basis through this type of environment versus 300 postcards one time a month. It's the same theory of why you would do it, because you want to create top-of-mind awareness with that very important, in fact, I would argue most important asset you have, which is your sphere of influence. But the idea that you can immediately turn a system like this on and then say, well, I'm going to invest $97 and I'm going to get $97 back in 30 days, that's just not the methodology of this type of marketing system. The idea is that you could say, in my mind, you could say, if I paid for this system for a whole year and stayed in front of people consistently on an automated way, reaching them where they wanted to, and had the ability to reach more people through viral, that viral content going out through those social media networks, if I could generate one more transaction over the course of the year, I would double my money. So is it reasonable to think that by putting a system in place to be able to more consistently stay in front of people, that I know that if I don't put a system in place, the vast odds are it will never happen, then is it reasonable that I could get one deal a year out of having this type of system in place? And my argument to you, and again, 600 people across the country right now that are on subscription would say yes. In fact, there's a testimonial. By the way, James Hecker, thanks so much. Says, good presentation. I'm glad to be a user already. I actually learned a couple of things today. So thanks, James, for doing that. I appreciate it. But that's the reason people stay with our system. It's the reason we don't have contracts. There was another question. What's the contract? We don't have one. You get started for $97. It's 100% money back guaranteed. And if you don't think it's effective and you don't like what we're doing, you can cancel anytime. But just going back to that, the best answer I can give for you is that if this is the type of marketing that if you don't do it consistently, you just simply won't have as successful a business as you could have had. And by the way, that's not just me talking. It is how I built my business to a very successful level, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in commission volume. But it's also, if you go ask the highest producers in the industry where they get their business, well over 70% every time is through repeat and referral business.
Right. You know, guys, I know many of you read the book Million Dollar Real Estate Agent. Coach Brad talks about this all the time as well. It's top-of-mind awareness content. I mean, the reality is statistically people move every 5 to 7 years. That means 15 to 20% of the population out there is already thinking about doing something different with their housing situation. The question is, are you going to be the person they think of when they decide to take action on doing something different with their house? If not, if you're not having this top-of-mind awareness marketing campaign, you're going to miss out on those deals. That's literally 15 to 20 people out of every 100 that are going to buy this year. So if if you've been in the business a couple of years, you've worked with several hundred families, and you have a database of leads that you've pre-approved that are all loaded into this system, in a 500-person database, you should reasonably expect that 80 to 100 leads a year should be coming your way via this type of marketing campaign. It's not a direct response marketing designed to elicit. You're not trying to push on somebody's, pain of being overloaded on credit card debt, hoping they'll call you for a debt consolidation refi. That's not this type of campaign. This is a nurturing, long-term campaign that builds value, credibility, and trust over an extended period of time, so that you are the person they call first and trust most when either they want to do something different with their house, or they think of somebody or come across somebody that needs to do something different with their housing situation. All right, guys. Well, there's a couple of things I just wanted to introduce you to just as we wrap up. Michael, I know you're going to kind of
Eric,
work on some of these Q&A.
Eric?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, let me just interrupt one quick thing. It looks like on our domain, freebloggingebook.com, I'm going to check into this. It's given someone pointed this out, and I appreciate it. It's given a malware warning, so don't use that until I figure out why that's the case. I will figure that out and deal with that. But anyone, if you want the free ebook, just go to mysmartblog.com to our blog, and the opt-in form is right there as well. So mysmartblog.com /blog, and you'll see the opt-in form right there for the free ebook. I apologize. I'll have this fixed today. We'll figure out exactly what's going on there. Unfortunately, that's with WordPress, which that's a WordPress-based website as well. That's why you have to manage it consistently, because periodically you get issues like this that come up. So that's one of the things with our network. We actually manage the process for you.
Okay. All right, guys, so just a couple of opportunities to help you grow your business provided by Maximum Acceleration. There's a couple of cool things that we've got going on. One of the things that we're right in the middle of and in the heart of is our Planning to Win Summit Tour. It's a strategic planning one-day workshop where we walk you through a 5-step process to build your success strategy and your purchase power-up plan for 2014. It's a great opportunity. We had an amazing event. Michael was part of it yesterday here in Walnut Creek, California. We'll be in Bellevue, Washington on Friday, and by the way, there are still plenty of tickets available for that. It is filling up fast, but so I encourage you, if you're even anywhere remotely close to Bellevue, come on out tomorrow, January 17th. There are still tickets available. You can use the discount code MSB, mysmartblog.com, plug it into the site, apply. That'll actually drop your attendance down to $97. And by the way, that does include lunch for the live events. The other opportunity that comes about as a result of that is that we are also now going to be streaming that event. Actually, I take that back on. By the way, we'll be in Danbury, Connecticut. So if you're in the White Plains of upstate New York, Manhattan, Long Island, Connecticut, Jersey, Pennsylvania, anywhere. We picked Danbury just because it's right in the heart of everything. It should be fairly easy for anybody to get to with a quarter of a day's drive. Come on out to Danbury, Connecticut. It'll be at the Ethan Allen Hotel right in the heart of Danbury, Connecticut, next Thursday, January 23rd. And on February 13th, we're going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. And Phoenix, Arizona, we also have one additional unique and creative opportunity. We've actually been able to pull together the opportunity to broadcast that event as a live streaming webcast. So even if one of these remote locations, even if one of these live locations are not accessible to you and you do want to go ahead and participate in our Planning to Win Summit and walk you through how to build your success plan for 2014, you can participate live and real time with us during the webcast. And again, it's offered at the same pricing that we are offering for the live events. Well, $97 to build your complete success plan. It'll be a great opportunity to connect with. I encourage you to bring a friend, bring your business development partners, realtors, financial planners, CPAs that you want to collaborate with as well. We'll talk about how to really make a difference in your community and do significantly more, double, triple, quadruple the volume of what you did last year by implementing effective leverage and systems and synergy that you can build with business development partners. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors for that event as well. Michael and MySmartBlog are platinum sponsor for that event, actually for all 4 of the events that we're doing, including the live webcast, which is an incredible opportunity for us to create some value for all of these people. Top of Mind Networks and Jonas Krukerberg are involved. United Wholesale Mortgage and NYCB Mortgage are also big promoters and sponsors with the event. Petco Closing Gifts and Listing Booster are also some of our colleagues and providers. If you can't attend the live event or the webcast on February 13th, but you still want to get the materials to be able to create your business and success plan, and by the way, you can use this off the heels of any event to take those great ideas and organize them into a structured plan that you can make sure gets implemented with all the tools and materials you need to do that plan for yourself. You're welcome to take advantage of our Planning to Win Home Study DVD course, which is available regularly $297. Today only it's available for $147. You can go directly to our website and be able to log in and register for that DVD box set home study course. We'll ship that out to you and get it on its way. You can go to mxlcoach.com and register for the live events or under the live event tab on our website, or you can go to mxlcoach.com/win and get the live events, or you can order the DVD home study course right from most of the pages on our basic website. Otherwise, like I said, if you're interested in participating more, or you'd like to find more about getting some direct hands-on support for how to grow your business faster this year with either one-on-one or group coaching opportunities available, we do have a couple of events coming up where it's your opportunity to experience what we call the Maximum Acceleration Experience, which is a live interactive demo of the coaching process. We encourage you to join us for that event. It is a free webinar. We talk a little bit about the mindset and methodology behind creating accelerated growth and how to create massive growth in minimum time. You'll learn some techniques and guidance on how to coach for yourself or how to be a better accountability partner to your business partners. You'll experience a live coaching process with some live participants, as well as answer all your questions about what the coaching process involves and what kind of investment and commitment is required to really make a difference and get a 200 to 300% return on your coaching investment. Upwards of 40% growth year over year plus is kind of the average experience of our typical coaching client. What would it look like to make an extra 80 to 100,000 next year? Kind of a concept. You can join us for that event. You can sign up for that webinar on the next one will be coming up next Tuesday, January 21st at 11 a.m. Central, 9 Pacific, it's 1 o'clock Eastern, just kind of do the math conversion. You can find that on our website at mxlcoach.com/webinars, as well as all future upcoming webinar events of this forum that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. So, like I said, if there's anything my team or I can do, if you are serious about taking your business to the next level and you want to talk one-on-one with one of our coaches about what it would look like to get started with coaching right away, we also do have a limited number of one-on-one consultations available to go over what works for you and what's going to, how it would benefit you and whether it's right for you to get started. The last thing I want to encourage you to do as part of this forum is, I wouldn't be doing my job as a coach if I didn't create action. It doesn't really matter. I don't care how great the idea is. The best ideas in the world, if there's no action on those ideas, they're worthless, right? I don't care how great or powerful the idea is. If you don't take action with you, it has no way of benefiting you. So what I want you to do is take just a couple more seconds here as we wrap up this webinar. You've already invested your time in the learning and information that's been shared today. So why not take an extra 2 minutes before you answer that next phone call or respond to that next email to really find out what you can do with the ideas that you have absorbed today and put an action plan in place. So the first thing I want you to do is ask yourself, what was the most valuable thing you heard in today's program? Pick one idea. We're going to provide you access to the recording within 24 to 48 hours of the close of the event. There's some back-end editing and formatting work that has to be done. It takes our team a little bit of time, but once we get that done, we'll get that recording out to you. So just pick one idea you can get started with right away. What was the most actionable thing you heard today that you want to implement immediately? Maybe it is going ahead and jumping to Mikel's website and signing up for the My Smart Guard program and getting on the schedule to get your website created. The second thing you need to do is then decide what action do you need to take to make that idea part of your daily business. And you want that idea, that action statement to be very action-oriented, almost as if it's a to-do item or a task that you assign yourself. The third thing you need to do is create a timestamp, a limit, a pattern of, by when will you have that action implemented. If you put a deadline on it, there's about a 60% chance of follow through and implementation when you actually timestamp a project, right? And then the fourth and kind of the magic secret of implementation is accountability. Usually I have time to share with you, and you guys have probably heard from this forum before, the Brigham Young study from 1998 that's talked about the implementation of specific ideas. What does it really take to create follow-through? And what they found in the research study is that if you want a 95% chance of taking action and implementing your ideas, find somebody to hold you accountable to that plan of action and follow up with you regularly leading up to the target completion date. So decide who's going to be your accountability partner in the growth of your business. I mean, it's kind of like picking a running buddy. Imagine I wanted to start jogging to lose some weight, and I do it the first couple of days of the year, and it's January 5th, and I'm cold, and it's cold and sweat, and it's nasty outside, and I'm completely exhausted. So I hit the snooze button, roll back over, and go to sleep and never go jogging again. But how different would that be if I had a buddy who decided he wanted to go jogging with me? And it's January 5th, and I'm worn out and exhausted, and it's cold and it's wet and it's nasty outside, but I know my buddy's going to be on my doorstep at 5 a.m. to go running. Likely it is I'm going to go ahead and get up and do it. It's so easy to break the promises we make to ourselves. It's significantly more difficult to break promises we make to people we trust and respect. So find that accountability partner. If you need help finding that person, or if you want to find out more about what it would look like to invest in yourself and retain the services of a professional, full-time, and committed coach, we'd love to talk to you about that opportunity. And if you do want to go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity to speak with one of our coaches one-on-one, find out a little bit more about what the coaching process involves, experience it for yourself, and look at what, when, and how to set it up and get you started with the program and what the benefit to you would be in the growth of your business, you're welcome to take advantage of our strategy session offer. There's no cost or obligation for the session. There are only a handful of them available every week, though, so I do encourage you to take action quickly. If you would like to go ahead and take advantage of one of those strategy sessions, all I ask you simply to do is post your best phone number or email address right here in the webinar Q&A platform so that our scheduling team can get a hold of you to book an appointment with one of our coaches for you to go ahead and get that strategy session underway. Otherwise, I wish you all the greatest success. I applaud you for being the few who take the time and initiative to invest in learning and growing your ability and skill at running this business and creating better results for your customers and your consumers as you move forward. So give yourselves a big round of applause, and thank you again for joining us. If there's anything myself or the rest of the team here at Maximum Acceleration can do to power up your business, please don't hesitate to ask, because that is our primary goal and mission in helping you get from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. Otherwise, we're going to hang tight for just a few more seconds. Michael, I know you're a busy man and you've got a million things to do, but if you do have a chance to stick with us for a little bit and maybe pick up a couple more of these questions. Otherwise, guys, if you do need to run for your next appointment, I totally understand, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I'm right here, Eric. I've been just going through and answering on the chat feature to all these questions. But I'm perfectly happy to answer any others that people have.
Yeah, guys, feel free to go ahead and post any additional questions. Michael and I are going to hang out for a few more minutes here just to kind of wrap up some of the questions that we see in the Q&A, which, by the way, even if we run out of time before we have to jump to our next sessions, I'll make sure that my team follows up on getting all these questions answered for you, following up with you directly if you do have still more specific questions. Michael, by the way, I'm going to encourage you to, if you go to the File tab in this platform, you can actually download this Q&A log, and you can print out a list of the entire questions list. You can download it to your hard drive just by doing that through the webinar platform just before we close up here. I meant to mention that to you before we got started, but that way you'll have the list of questions and any more of the detailed questions about the MySmartBot program or how to get started with it you can address directly. I'll take the ones about the coaching stuff and we'll kind of go from there. All All right, guys. Also, want to encourage you if there was information we didn't cover today that you want to ask questions about or get more feedback on or guidance on, feel free to go ahead and post those questions here in the Q&A platform. We're going to leave this forum open for just a few more minutes to get those questions in and posted so that we can get to the next level for everybody. Otherwise, I am going to I'm going to be jumping off here by phone for just a second, but I'll be hanging around by chat for just a few more minutes watching what's going on in the activity. But anyway, I guess one last thing I want to do here is again, just remember, guys, we're here to help you grow. We're here to help you invest in yourself and hold you accountable to following through on making the necessary changes to improve your business, to increase your volume and production month by month, week by week, year by year. And if you want to go from 4 or 5 loans a month to 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 loans, or 10 or if you're doing 10 or 12 loans a month, you want to get 15 to 20 loans a month. If you're doing 20 plus loans a month and you want to start leveraging your time and duplicating yourself, creating more lifestyle for yourself, whatever your level of growth and whatever opportunity, if you want to get from where you are to where you want to go faster, the best way to do it is to help and support guidance and accountability that comes from a professional coaching arrangement. The best investments I've ever made in my career were the investments I made in hiring a personal coach to get me through the growth hurdles that I experienced and or the challenges I was struggling with, the ceilings of capacity that I was beating my head against. So it literally is one of the highest return investments you can make is in the skills refinement and development of you as an individual professional. So if you'd like more information about the coaching process, what it involves, how it works, what the potential benefit would be to you in your unique business situation, the best way to find that out is take advantage of one of our strategy sessions, a one-on-one connection with a conversation between you and one of our professional coaches. We'll talk a little bit about the coaching process. You'll get a little bit of a coaching experience, and then we'll talk a little bit about how to help you move forward if and when and the investment required. If you'd like to take advantage of one of those strategy sessions, all you simply need to do is go ahead and post that you'd like a strategy session in the Q&A, along with the best phone number and email address for our team to reach you for scheduling purposes. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all on future Maximum Performance webinars, and I wish you all the greatest success as you grow your business through 2014. Make it a great day, everybody.